Hooty-hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. It's Wednesday, January 6th. What do we got today? We got the market already up 500 points higher. What's happening? Well, free money's going to be flowing. The party's going to keep going. It's going to keep going. They're going to keep printing the money. The money's going to get into the market. The market's going to keep going. It's going to push towards 40,000 on the Dow. We're at, about 31,000 now. We're going to head to 40,000. We're going to keep in mind, a lot of volatility coming up and down, up and down. Nothing goes up in a straight line. But the momentum is going to push this to 40,000. 40,000, isn't that crazy? Yeah. Well, free money will do that. Now, what I want to talk today about is actually real estate. The real estate market. Okay, so we're at record highs in the real estate market. Will this money come in and push the market higher? Well, maybe temporarily. Look, when I grew up, it was a time in life where one income could pay for the mortgage on the house and give a family enough to live. Only my father worked. My mom didn't work. But then, as I got older, 1960s, I guess, is when women started to go into the marketplace to work because they needed two incomes to buy the house. Two incomes. So it went from one income to two income to afford the mortgage. And now today it takes two families maybe. Let's call it two families. Maybe it's a generational family, an extended family. The parents live with the kids, live with the grandkids. You got generation families. I have that on each side of me, a generation family, where the parents are living with the kids or living with the grandkids. So this is what it takes to buy a house today. Now, has it come to a point where it's a luxury to own a home? Is that what we want here in the U.S.? Well, that's what we got. Okay, so the average salary in the United States is about $36,000 a year. Average home costs about $320,000 a year. $36,000, $320,000. No, you can't do it. The home is a luxury. It takes someone making $100,000 to buy that $300,000 home. Now, if you want to buy, let's say, a $1 million house, you're going to need to be in the $300,000 range. Wow. So is it a luxury to buy a property? Well, I think it is right now. I think it is. Do I think it's going to stay this way? I do not. Now, and a lot of people think this free money, this cheap money is going to keep pushing the markets higher. Now, I know that the Federal Reserve and the government, they do not want your house to come down $1. Don't want it to drop. You know why? Well, it comes to tax revenues. They need the tax revenues to run the cities, to run the states. If houses come down, tax revenues come down with it. Property taxes. Here in California, it's about 1.2% is what the property tax is when you buy a house. So they need that revenue. They can't have houses getting cut in half. So what do? They get cheap money. They get cheap money and they print it and they buy the mortgages. The Federal Reserve right now owns about 1 out of every 3 mortgages. Nobody loans money at 2% for 30 years. Only the Federal Reserve can do this. So they're going to keep doing this. But what we got here is a major problem going on. Major problem. No one's really talking much about it. Okay, so we got 20% of all FHA mortgages are already delinquent. They're not paying. They don't have money to pay. Okay, now I know they extended the forbearance. Technically they're not called delinquent. We extended the forbearance till the end of February 2021. Now they'll probably kick the can down the road. Okay, the new administration comes in and go, we can't have this. Let's kick the can down the road. Let's make it June 2021. Okay, maybe that works. All right, so now what about renters? Well, the eviction moratorium is extended out till the end of January this month, extended out there. But I'm pretty sure they're going to kick that can farther down the road. Now, maybe they just come up with a plan that nobody's got to pay rent anymore. But what does the poor landlord do? He's got to make his payment to the bank. I don't know. Maybe the government comes and pays all the rent. Maybe we print some more money. Maybe we continue this charade of keeping this house of cards alive. And believe me, it is a house of cards. And when one goes, the next one goes, the next one goes, and it all comes crushing down. It's a house of cards. Now, how long can it last? Can it keep going? Now, granted, it's lasted a little bit longer than I thought. I didn't think we could do forbearance. I didn't think you could do eviction moratoriums. This is against all contract law. Contract law says you have to pay your rent. You have a contract. You sign a lease. That is a contract to pay your rent. Okay, so we just do away with the Constitution. No problem. All right. Well, what about mortgages? That is a contract. You have a mortgage. It's your job to pay the mortgage. So the bank, they hold the contract. It's a deed of trust. It's a contract. Okay, so can they foreclose? No, they can't foreclose. What can they do? They can do absolutely nothing. They can go beg the government, please pay me some money so that I can stay in business. Well, they really want the prices to stay high. Now, would it be so bad if prices came down? Now, in my area, prices, $2 million homes. All of them. I live next to Apple Computer. Everyone works at Apple Computer. They make their $500,000 a year and they buy these $2 million houses. It's pretty wild, but they cannot let them come down because we need that tax revenue. So what would you do? If I were going to buy a home right now, is it a good time to buy a home? Are they going to press higher? My opinion is no. Let's look back. All right, what would I do? Well, I would be putting my money into silver. Do you realize that in 1980, it took 800 ounces of silver to buy the average price home in the U.S.? 800 ounces is all you need. What's an ounce of silver? It's under $30. Let's just say $30. So about 800 ounces, $24,000 it'll cost you. And at some point, and I think it could be soon, could be within a couple years, that 800 ounces could buy you a house. Now you go, Mike, that's just stupid. That could never happen. Well, okay, let's take a look at it another way. 2 years ago, you could have bought a Bitcoin for about $3,000. Let's say you bought 10 of them. You put 30,000 in. Okay, those 10 Bitcoins, the 30,000 2 years ago, would be more than enough to buy you the average price house. Bitcoin's at 35,000, went from 3,000 to 35,000. So those 10 Bitcoins would be 350,000. You can take them, sell them, buy yourself the average home. Now, I believe the same thing's going to happen to silver. Now, some people say you could buy a Bitcoin today for 35,000, and in next year it's going to be 350,000. Now, I don't believe that. I do not believe that. Maybe it comes true. I'm not saying it's not going to come true. I just say that you'd be better off taking your chance on silver. I'd buy 800 ounces. 800 ounces will get you a house. It has before, and at some point in the future it will again. Now, will it be a year, 2 years, 10 years? That I don't know. But at some point in the future, 800 ounces of silver will get you the average price home in the U.S. So would I buy a home here? No, I would not. I'd put my money into silver, and when those 800 ounces buy the home, I'll sell my silver, buy that home for cash. No mortgage. You don't need a mortgage. Buy the silver now, buy the home later. Okay, so now people say that home prices, they can't come down. Well, maybe they can't. Maybe they're just going to keep going up, and maybe the dollar's what's going to come down. So let's say home prices stay the same, but let's say the dollar collapses by 50%. It takes twice as many dollars to buy the same thing. So in reality, home prices, if they stayed the same, would they have got cut in half? Well, technically, I suppose they would have. It's an invisible crash. But so what is keeping home prices up? Well, let's look at the price of lumber. Lumber is expensive now. Oh, my goodness. The cost to build a home is skyrocketing. That I agree with. Okay, now what else is keeping home prices up? You got all these iBuyers out there. You got companies like Zillow. like Open Door. If you want to sell your home now, they'll give you a cash price offer within 3 days. Okay, well, what's interesting is they're losing money on every house they buy. They lose between $10,000 and $20,000. So maybe it's a good deal to sell your home to Zillow. I'd never do it, but maybe it's not a viable opportunity. But they're in the marketplace buying up some homes. Okay, there's no foreclosure homes. There's no landlords selling their properties. Nothing's moving. The velocity of homes. See, there's the velocity of money, and that is very slow right now because we're all locked down. But there's also the velocity at how quickly homes turn over. They're not turning over now. Why? Because we got the COVID. They're not ready to sell their homes yet. They don't want people coming in their house with COVID. No, so they're waiting for this pandemic to get done with so that they can go out and sell their home so we can get more inventory on the market. What's this going to do? Well, it's going to put more inventory on. Now, a lot of people say the corporations are going to come in and buy your house. And maybe they will. Maybe the corporations will buy up all the homes and maybe they'll get them to keep going up higher. I'm just not a believer at these prices. I do think homes are in the bubble. They were in the bubble in 2007, 2008 when the bubble broke. Okay, we reinflated that bubble with QE 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who knows how many QEs were on? They changed the name. They call it stimulus now. It's not QE, it's stimulus. Okay, but they're going to keep on stimulate those houses. They cannot let them fall. Would it be so bad if houses fell? It would if you own one, I suppose. Nobody wants their house to go down. Nobody wants their equity to go down. The average equity on a home in the United States is about $190,000. Let's say you got a $600,000 home, it went to $400,000. All your equity would be wiped out if you had a $400,000 loan. Nobody wants that to happen. I understand they want houses to go up, but what are they going to do to make it happen? How much are they going to print? How much are they going to devalue our dollars? It's a lot to think about. Anyways, leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you think home prices are going straight up or if they're going to come back down to earth. I'm Tall Mike. This is my channel, Stock Market Gambler. If you like this, thumbs up. If you really liked it, hit that subscribe button. We'll talk again real soon. Bye-bye now.